All right, so are you ready? This is our 50th episode. We got to do something big. So I've got it planned. All right. Now we're going to video with this one, and we're going to have you over on this side of the room. I'm going to put you in costume, and we'll start the music. And then you dance to the center as I come flying across on the trapeze.
I am not watching your stupid movie, John Paul. I am not watching this movie.
We got to do a musical episode for our 50th.
No, we do not.
No,
well, actually, technically, I've only been on 49 episodes.
Well, I don't know. It depends. I think we've had a couple of special ones, and we did some we never uploaded.
That is true.
So
It's
either way,
like a 60th in a way.
but you don't want to do the whole musical thing.
No, I don't.
Tell me, do you want to go?
Nope.
No, you just want me to go?
Just go. Just
Okay.
start.
Welcome to this 50th episode of the Old Titans. We're getting older, and so is our show. This is John Paul.
As always, the one and only B-Man. That's all I'm going to do for today, this one. No title. No title. Look at that.
We put all of our focus on the show itself this week.
Yes, because we did a lot of prep work this week.
Honestly, I can't believe we hit 50, though. This is cool.
We're closer to 60 or 70 if you count the ones we just didn't upload or
Probably close to 60. I don't think we went that. I don't messed up that many times. But close to 60.
Plus we had special ones like 0.5s and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did a 0.1 Spider-Man review. That's right. You weren't on that one.
That was actually
Yeah.
that was our least liked show in history, by the way.
It was?
That was our least liked show in
I thought
history.
it was one of our most
Our
listened
biggest
to.
drop off was that we actually barely recovered from that.
Yeah, well, you know.
We lost all funding.
It's because of Spider-Man, how bad it was, right?
That's better than Wonder Woman. As we voted for on the last award show from last week.
And on that note, we're going to get into the B-Man question of the week. Which?
This is a good question, John Paul.
Okay.
The question of the week is, what was the last question of the week?
That's what I was going to say, is we don't remember our question. We were so disappointed in our question. And it's now in 2018. So first, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Should old questions be forgot and all that good
Because
stuff?
they already have been forgot, yes.
I think we should just ignore it and make up a new question and
We'll
pretend
go
that was
with
our
there.
question.
We'll go with there, yes.
Do you have a good one?
Lined up for next week? Yeah.
I mean, for like today, do you have one?
Oh, we'll start off with... this is a good one for you.
Okay.
Because this is part of the news. We're going to the news with this question.
Okay.
All right. Jodie Foster, I believe it was last night, made a comment, or recently made a comment.
Yeah, so
that
recently, yeah.
Superhero movies are ruining Hollywood. How do you feel about this comment, John Paul?
I think it's one of those comments that she probably wishes she hadn't said at the time she said it. It's probably one of those things, we all say things we wish, it's like, I probably said something too strong there, went overboard, because it's a stupid statement. I mean, superhero movies, no more so than science fiction movies, or musicals, or cowboy movies, or any other genre that kind of takes over for a period of time. No type of movie is going to destroy Hollywood. They can do well enough on their own. No, that's a...
No, I'm actually with you. I think Jodie Foster, I agree with her somewhat, the fact that superhero movies are so overblown. Like every month there's another movie out there, it feels like. By the time one ends, another one comes out almost, put it that way.
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes.
Or close to. I mean, I think right now in theaters, Justice League is still playing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some theaters, so I mean...
Thor is too. I mean, it was only 2 weeks earlier.
So, I mean, they're still out there right now.
Yeah.
And
a month away, I think it was a month away from Black Panther.
Right. So I see her point that a lot of the moviegoers are spending the money on superhero movies only.
Yeah.
One of the problems, though, is not really superhero movies in general, is the fact that seeing a movie these days is so expensive.
That's the biggest problem.
I think that's the biggest problem right now, not really the superhero genre.
It's half the problem for Hollywood. It's not the other half of it's not a problem. It's that the home technology has gotten so good. Large TVs have gotten so cheap compared to what they used to be. Sound systems have gotten so good. Popcorn is really cheap at home. I mean, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So people look at it and go, the movie tickets have gotten so high, and I have such a good experience at home. That's driving away more than anything else.
And what I did a lot of times myself is, like you just said, it's so much cheaper at home.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day when we were kids, there were VHSs to be watched.
Oh, yeah.
A movie came in the theater, you would have seen a VHS for like a year later or something like that.
At least.
Nowadays, sometimes these movies are on DVD within a month or two after. Or Blu-ray, whatever it is.
And you think it's because of how well they do or don't do at the theater. Maybe if they don't do well, they rush it to DVD. But no, they have those schedules planned, a year ahead.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, it just my favorite movie of the year last year just left some theater. I actually think it's still in some cheap theaters right now.
Yeah, it probably is.
That comes on Blu-ray, I want to say next week.
Yeah, so it's just right around the corner. So
So,
that's what, 3 months later, 4 months tops.
Yeah, but like how long did the movie play until December easily?
Yeah.
So we're talking like maybe a month after it ended.
The-
Now
the-
think of it this way: you can buy a Blu-ray copy, own this copy, you watch it whenever you want to watch it for like $20.
Yeah,
Or you can take your wife to see this movie for like 30, and now see it just once and you're done.
yeah, I know. This is why MoviePass is doing well. We can talk about MoviePass some other time, but it's a subscription service where you can go and for $10 a month see as many movies in the month as you want to see, one a day. So that will help if programs like that come along and are widely used. That will help.
And see, this is another reason I kind of disagree with her. I mean, I agree, disagree. I agree with the fact that there's way too many out there. At the same point, superhero movies, people understand. They think this is a new thing. They think Iron Man started this or Batman started this, one of the two. It really hasn't started with those.
No.
I mean, technically, Hercules, bunch of movies, Clash of Titans, all these movies.
Yeah.
That's a superhero movie in theory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
Just
you want to go to just the straight superheroes of what everybody would.
The spandex guys?
Yeah, the spandex guys. I mean, go back to the 40s. You had Superman
Right.
in the serials. You had Black Hawk. You had Captain Marvel, Captain America, Batman.
Yeah.
You had all those serials that
Absolutely.
people went to for 15 weeks in a row. They had the 15 chapters. You paid your quarter every week and went and saw the movie. You had George Reeves. The beginning of the Superman TV series was actually in the theaters. Superman and the Mole Men. You had Christopher Reeve. I'm skipping a lot of Marvel because Marvel, no question, Marvel's killing it now. But it took them decades to ever really
Right.
get started.
Right.
They never could. But DC kept having these little pops of greatness, and then they would fall into nothing, and pop of greatness and fall into nothing.
And yes, and again, it goes back to prices.
Yeah.
You know, compared to how it was back in the 80s, you know, there really isn't a middle class anymore as far as American goes. They're upper class and better lower class. Well, I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. I mean, it's almost like that these days. So to see 2 or 3 movies a week, a year, I'm sorry, a month.
A month.
My wife and I started, yeah, let's go to that for a second. My wife and I first started dating. We started a different movie every week.
Okay.
We can't do that anymore. We just can't physically afford that anymore.
Well,
It gets hard. Plus, with another kid and another ticket.
I think say even without the kid, it'd be difficult because you're looking at. Let's say you find a theater that's only selling their tickets for $10 a piece.
Right. Which is hard to find these
It's hard,
these days.
but even if you did 3 movies in a month for the 2 of you, that's $60 a month.
Right.
That's quite a bit of money. I mean,
Plus, I mean, popcorn is like, what, $8, something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Candy's $5 or $6. Like, this is, I mean...
and you're probably going to be spending $13 or $14 per ticket. So it's easy if you saw 3 movies in a month. You're spending over $100.
Again, there's a lot of blame to go around. I think Hollywood needs to take a lot of this blame. Plus, Hollywood has put out some pretty bad movies.
They have put some bad ones out
I mean,
there.
it seems like right now, the only thing you see right now are either superhero movies or reboots or sequels.
And it doesn't help. Sorry, it helps us as fans, but it doesn't help Hollywood that the actors no longer have a stigma against being on television. You get some big name actors
Yeah,
in
Will
a lot of
Smith is
TV
making a
shows.
Netflix show.
Yeah,
Movie.
and with Netflix and HBO, I guess it started with The Sopranos and HBO, but with HBO and Netflix and Stars and Showtime and
Yeah.
even ABC, CBS, CW, and all the rest, there are so many good shows on. Sometimes they're short. I mean, 10 episodes and the whole show's done. Almost really more of a miniseries. But you can see such good content. And honestly, as much as I enjoyed Justice League, Crisis on Earth X, the CW crossover, was a much better Justice League movie.
And again, bring it up to that as well. Justice League, I did enjoy Justice League.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. I didn't like the Flash in Justice League. I thought he was the weakest part of that movie.
Right.
I like the Flash in the TV show.
Yeah.
I think Grant Gustin's that's
Yeah,
his name.
yeah, Grant
done a
Gustin.
great job with that character.
Yeah, absolutely.
The writing's been great in that show. That I'd rather watch the Flash at home for free when I want to watch it, as opposed to paying money to see a Flash movie, what they had right there.
Now, what I would love to do is if they would take Crisis on Earth X and put it at the movie theater, one of those Fathom events, one night only.
They might
or
do that
those
one
kind of
day.
things. Doctor Who, the Doctor Who Christmas special, they did that. In fact, it sold well enough they expanded it to 2 nights so you could watch the big thing. So they do some of that, and that brings people back into the theater. But
They need to fix things. And I think, as you just said a minute ago, whatever, The home quality is so good as opposed to it was back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, there's no more big box TVs that, you know, with a little green bar on the top of it and
Yeah.
cut off heads, whatever it is. It's so good quality. It's almost as good as watching it in a theater. In the privacy of your own home. I would almost say they would never be able to do this because they can't really regulate it, but just right to the movie, right to their home. You can watch this movie, here's $30. Pay $30, you can watch it.
Yeah.
At the same point, that'll probably lose money because you can record it at home. Plus, you have 20 people come over home and watch a movie. So that's, again, I can see them losing money from that.
Yeah.
But they are running out of ideas, and they got to do something fast because this industry is changing.
But as long as they keep putting out the big spectacles, like Star Wars and things, that
Right.
draw people in, they've got some time.
They have time, but I see it going down.
Yeah.
Because their solution right now is to raise prices, and the raising prices, I think, is hurting.
At some point, it'll kill it.
And even some theaters don't even do matinees anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that also is hurting things.
Yeah. Or if they do them, they don't change the price.
Right.
It used to be matinee price, you at least got half price
Yeah.
or something, but not
So,
anymore.
yeah, that's controversial statements.
Well,
I agree and disagree with her.
yeah. I don't think it's superhero movies, but
She did say superhero movies.
yeah,
but-
she said superhero. I don't think it's that, but she has a point that there's a lot going on
Right.
around that. Should we get into the news then?
Yes.
All right. Whatever.
you had to do that for
Okay,
the
you had to
year.
do it. Had to do it for the new year. So, or whatever. Take it away with the news.
Oh, me?
Yes.
You're the news guy.
Yeah, but I don't have any news this time.
You're the one that told me the news
The
I'm going to
only-
bring
the-
up.
the only news
you
I
were the
have-
one that told me the news out. I just brought up news. Bring up news.
I had one news item to bring up.
Bring it up.
One. It was Jodie Foster's statement, and you used it for our question.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No, you told me a piece a couple minutes ago.
I did.
Yes.
Which piece did I tell you a couple
About
minutes
Disney
ago?
possibly buying Netflix.
That's right. Hey, well, you just spoiled it. You just said it instead.
Because you can't remember, because you
I
are
can't remember.
old, man. All
I'm
right.
getting older. But yes, so there is a rumor that Disney might be buying Netflix and that Amazon might be buying Target. So those are two major acquisitions. I don't think I like the idea of Disney buying Netflix. The Amazon buying Target, that's whatever, that's fine. There's enough retail out there, Walmart and all the rest.
Is it really, though?
Well, Walmart and Target are kind of the Coke and Pepsi of retail stuff.
Right.
Target's a little bit higher end, but not a whole lot. We're talking a step tops. Outside of that, Walmart's bigger. So if Amazon buys Target, it just gives them a distribution arm, whatever. I'm okay with that one. Netflix being part of Disney, Disney already has a 60% ownership now in Hulu.
Okay.
So the two biggest streaming services are Netflix and Hulu,
And weren't they also going to come out with a Disney streaming service?
and they were doing that.
Which might not happen now.
When they bought Fox and got the Hulu stuff, I kind of assumed maybe they would just, whether they officially relabeled it or just called it Disney's Hulu. Just put the little Disney
They
name
won't
over
do
the
that.
word Hulu. A lot of companies, when you do acquisitions, that happens a lot. And then somewhere down the line, after people get used to seeing the two names connected, they can drop off.
Yeah, but Disney, a lot of times, they don't put the name on top of everything.
They don't. But I was assuming Hulu would become their service. Now, of course, this is a rumor. We don't know if it'll actually
But,
is even
but
considered.
think of it how it is right now, all right? Yes, they own 60% of Hulu. They also own the top shows on Netflix.
Yep.
So I mean, they're already heavily getting money from both stations.
Yeah.
Just like we're in Orlando, Disney owns the theme parks. Let's be real. The biggest competitor, Universal Studios,
Has Marvel stuff
has
at it.
Marvel Island there.
But they haven't tried to buy Universal. It could be they'll be happy to just make revenue off of
They're
that.
making they're fine. They're making money every day off them practically.
Yeah. It's kind of like we had a conversation yesterday about there being no Star Wars video games in a while, except for the couple examples I gave of Star Wars Lego video game
And Battlefront, yeah.
and where they license their name to another company,
Mm-hmm.
where they have no financial risk, and if there's money made, they just get to make the money. That's kind of what they do with Universal. They have no risk in running the park. Well, with Hulu, with Netflix right now, they have no risk in Netflix. They can run Hulu, make it their main service, keep a few shows over on Netflix. If they do well, great. They're making money off both services.
But isn't Netflix the biggest selling
Oh, yeah.
streaming service?
It is the biggest.
So they can be the biggest. I mean, why not? The Disney. They're going to own everything eventually.
I think they would. I think they could grow Hulu into the biggest anyway.
Why risk it? Why risk it when you just buy it? I'm not saying I like the idea.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying that's Disney's
Thing
problem.
is, I
Disney
don't know
has
if
bottomless pockets. Let's
I
be
don't
real.
know if FTC would allow it though.
FTC, I think FTC bows to Disney.
I don't know.
Who's going to step up to them?
Well, you never know what Trump's going to do. First of all, and I'm not trying to make it political, but you honestly don't never know what he's going to say one day. Maybe he had a bad experience at Disney one day and says, no, they're not going to be allowed to do that. You never know.
And then Disney has him impeached because they'll pay the senators. They'll find something. It's
Now,
Disney,
if we,
dude.
Now, if we could go that direction,
Well, let's not get political. I'm saying it's Disney. I don't see any corporation stepping up to Disney and saying you can't do that. Disney has everything. They have the lawyers, they have the money, they have the power. They are the most powerful company in this world, I believe. I know some companies make more money than them, regardless.
Yeah.
Disney,
Oh.
I don't know. The mouse is powerful. Put it that way. The force is stronger than the mouse.
Apple could buy Netflix out from under him. How about that?
That would be great.
Apple has like $50-something billion sitting in the bank, not doing anything.
What would Netflix sell for? You think that's enough
I
money
don't
to buy
know.
Netflix? Someone?
Oh, that's more than enough money to buy them.
Well, would Apple even want Netflix?
I'm just picking somebody else who has the strength to do it. It's a streaming service. It still connects to IT type stuff, and Apple is really more of an
Actually,
entertainment.
think of it this way. This could actually be genius. Apple buys Netflix, makes Netflix only for your iPhones. You can't watch it on your phone anymore.
That would be dumb. That would be.
Would it be dumb?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, get rid of those. What do you have there, Galaxy?
Yeah, this is a Samsung Galaxy, yeah.
Can I afford that?
Probably.
No, I can't.
With all the deals they have out there.
No, I don't want those.
But anyway, so there's a news item for
Okay.
you. Did you have any other news items?
Yes, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We talked about. We beat this down pretty good. Again,
We did.
You
And
weren't a
we're going
fan-
to talk about it more in a little bit after we do our predictions for the new year. Or
Right.
whatever, but
But well, actually, let's go to predictions first.
you want to do it first?
Yeah, let's go
okay.
predictions
So,
first.
all right, let's take it kind of category. We're not going to break it down to as many categories as we did for our year in review.
Right.
But going through like TV shows, movies, books, comics, whatever, and video games. Let's pick movies. What you don't have to pick. You can. You don't have to. But you don't have to pick one movie. But is there one movie or a series of movies or anything that you're really, really looking forward to this year?
This is interesting because for me, it's always been Star Wars. Last Jedi left such a bad taste in my mouth, even though I did enjoy it overall.
Yeah.
Such a disappointment to me. Sorry, that Han Solo is no longer my look forward movie of the year. It was originally.
Yeah.
Favorite character, I loved Han Solo.
And that's
from
in
the
May,
series.
right?
That's coming in
So
May.
we got Solo,
Solo. Is that the Star Wars? I think it's called
something like that. Yeah.
Whatever it is. As far as movies go, probably Avengers. It looks really good from what I've seen. Hey, superhero movie. Looking forward to seeing it. But again, I mean, it's usually the surprise ones that I'm not expecting what I like the most. As far as TV shows, this is interesting for me with TV shows.
Right, well, let me do
Okay.
my movie part
Okay,
first.
movie,
Okay, movie. All right, so for movies, I definitely couldn't pick one. That's why I said you don't have to pick
Okay.
one. I had a hard time doing that. I am looking forward to Avengers. All right. I'm a little worried that because it was originally kind of like I was worried when Justice League when they first announced it was going to be a two-parter and that Avengers was going to be a two-parter,
Right.
and then they both backed off of that. But then I've heard in interviews. What are their names? Is it the Russo brothers? Or is that who's directing
no
them?
idea.
Anyway,
Maybe.
same people who did Civil War or
Okay.
whatever. They made it sound like this is just part one of a story, even though they're not calling it part one. So I'm a little worried that we're going to leave the movie like, where's the rest of it? I'm a little bit worried. So there's that. But still looking forward to Avengers. The other one is Aquaman. I mean, it's a DC one. But Aquaman, he's had such disrespect over the years. I'm looking forward to, are they going to do something with Aquaman that is going to just
They'll make him cool.
rock
Jason
everybody's world?
Momoa, in general, he walks in the
Yeah.
room, the room got cooler.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
real.
That's true. And then there's a lot of smaller movies and other stuff coming out this year that could be kind of spectacular and catch us all off guard. But those are kind of the biggies. So I left Star Wars out to some degree for the same reason. My anticipation is dropped.
Yeah, I'm going to see it, absolutely. I'm going to see it opening weekend? Probably, maybe. I don't know.
It's right before MegaCon, I believe.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that you might have something spoiled if you.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of is
You might find out that he's really in love with Princess Leia.
Nick. Well, she'll be in the movie.
Yeah.
Next year, though, is the problem because I think Star Wars Episode 9 comes out the day of MegaCon starts.
Yeah. So yeah.
But again, that's just
Okay, so TV.
Okay.
You started with TV.
Okay.
So what are you looking forward to on TV?
I'm a free agent. I am absolutely a free agent this year. think of it this way, right?
What do you mean you're a free agent?
Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are always my two big ones.
Okay.
No Game of Thrones this year. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I don't really care about anymore.
Okay.
I'll continue watching this season. Maybe I'll watch next season if I finish the season.
Depends on what they do. Okay.
Right. They are saying that there's only be one character left from the first episode, which is, I think the only characters left is Rick and Morgan, right? I believe from the first episode.
From the very first episode,
Yeah, I think it's Rick and Morgan.
Carl.
Carl died already.
Well, not yet.
We think he's
Yeah, I
dead.
know.
And
I know.
they show pictures of him online, and
I know.
his family's outraged. So yeah, it's just Rick and. Was Carl in the first episode?
I thought he was.
I'm not entirely sure of that.
He was in their story, whether he was physically on screen or
I
not. I don't
honestly
know.
think it was just Rick Morgan and Morgan's kid. I mean,
He
might have
might-
been other characters in the background.
That's true. You might not have seen him until episode 2,
Because
even though
you-
he's part of. Again, he
Right.
was part of their story. He was part of what was going on. You just didn't see him. You're right.
Because it starts off with Shane and Rick talking about the fight he had with Lorian
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything happening. So know those shows. There are shows I watched on the side, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I like Riverdale. I know you don't care for it. I like Riverdale. But again, if I miss Riverdale, am I really going to lose sleep over it? Not really.
Right.
There's really no show out there that I'm like, I gotta watch this. I can't miss this. There's not one out there.
There's one I'm going to bring up. You'll go, oh, I didn't think about that.
Which one?
Your most surprising show.
Even Legion, I can be okay without missing.
No, okay.
There's no show this year that I'm like, I gotta see this.
At this point in time.
At this point in
At this
time,
point
right.
in time. All right. So for me, Legion, I'm absolutely just can't wait for season 2 of Legion to come along. I love season 1 so much. Looking forward to that. As much as I talked bad about the idea of a prequel and didn't want Krypton to happen, the closer we're getting to it and the more I'm hearing about it, I'm actually getting excited about Krypton.
Won't last.
I have no idea. And I still think it should be limited. I still think it should be like 1 or 2 seasons to be done. I don't think it should be just an ongoing long-term one. But I'm at least excited about it for now. iZombie. I love iZombie each year. iZombie will be coming back. So those are probably the 3 biggest. And then I have to admit, my guilty pleasure, American Idol's coming back.
Wow.
So I got to see American Idol.
The only one I can honestly think of that I'm even close to is Star Trek Discovery. Which is funny because I hated Star Trek. Before this movie, I never really was a Star Trek fan.
Yeah, it comes back like in 2 weeks. Or
I
something
like
like that.
I like the reboots of the movies or whatever they are. Not really reboots. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. They were good, but I like this new show. So yeah,
All right, so that's that. Comics, you don't read comics, but I'm going to say for the rest of the year, I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of Doomsday Clock. It'll complete next December, so it's going to take the full year to tell. Loving the first 2 issues. It's blending Watchmen and the DC universe together, and it sounds like, are we sure we want to do that in concept? But it's Jeff Johns, and you just have to trust in the Johns.
You do.
That sounds weird. Trust in the Jeff. I don't know. However you say it.
oh, Brian Michael Bendis has officially joined DC. How do you feel?
I'm not sure.
He's had
I-
some great stories in his
Oh,
time, but
he
he's
has.
had some very controversial, like what the heck is going on?
Right. So okay. So here's something I'm not looking forward to in the new year. Okay. So a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago, DC realized that their whole New 52 experiment, while it started big, that was more of the,
Something new is going on.
something new.
Really
Let's see
new
what it
time,
is.
yeah.
It wasn't working. They'd lost that spark. But they found it again with Lois and Clark, the Superman comic that was bringing back the original Superman, and Lois still married and so on. And Dan Jurgens was writing it. And they had to do something new, which was doing something old, doing Rebirth. So they plotted out this whole thing, and you had a triumvirate, I think that's the word, of presidents at DC. It's kind of weird. You got Dan DiDio, Jim Lee, and Jeff Johns. And they have different responsibilities, but the 3 of them kind of together run DC.
Which Jim Lee being part of that is confusing me, but go
Right.
ahead.
And Jim Lee, in my opinion, is really responsible for most of the New 52 stuff I don't like. His art is great,
Yeah,
but
it's great.
he tried to take DC and make it an Image type comic.
He
Image
did.
Marvel
I
type
agree,
comic.
yes.
All right. So Rebirth happens, and Jeff Johns is leading the whole Rebirth thing, and it's very successful. And I really think that Dan DiDio and Jim Lee were upset about that. This
Really?
whole new direction that they wanted to take the company, turn it into Marvel 2 or Image 2, didn't go anywhere. And what was working was Jeff Johns bringing back the legacy stuff And it worked. They couldn't say anything about it because it was working. So behind the scenes, they start working on their own plan. And their own plan ended up being two things. One was Metal. And Metal is Scott Snyder doing his Batman story that feels very much like a Marvel miniseries, with expanding and delays and adding on side stories, and just it's a mess. My opinion. A lot of people loving it, like a lot of people love some of the Marvel miniseries, but it feels very much like a Marvel miniseries. And spinning out of that, the new age of DC heroes. Okay, before we've even finished Rebirth, Doomsday Clock is supposed to be the culmination of Rebirth, the whole putting everything together, a huge plan. Jim Lee and Dan DiDio, but mainly Jim Lee, put together the new age of DC heroes. And in this, they're launching like 8 new books or something like that. 7, 8, 9 books. And with premier creators, and in all their advertising, that's how they put it, premier creators. And they're giving certain creators more money, extra advertising, extra control, extra whatever, and really promoting them like crazy. And they announced it, and then they delayed it, and then they announced it, and then delayed it. And it's finally coming this year. And it's taking focus off of Rebirth, which was working so well. And I just really think it's Jim Lee primarily, but him and Dan DiDio struggling. I think we're seeing a power struggle inside DC Comics on what will that company be. And I'm not looking forward to finding out what it's going to be, because I don't want it to go down. I mean, no matter whether you like Marvel, Image, DC, it's good that they each have their own identity. That because you have different readers who have different things they like. If you are more visual, Image was where you wanted to go. If you were kind of an X-Men, the Kirby history type stuff, you're a Marvel person. If you like that legacy, the passing the baton from father to son, and down to sidekicks and all the rest, the whole legacy thing, that was DC. Each of them had their identity, and that's being stripped away.
I'll tell you one thing. If it's a power struggle involving Jim Lee, I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to be delayed.
It will be.
It will be delayed.
Oh, it already has been.
There we go. So you know it's Jim Lee's involved.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's one I'm not looking forward to. Sorry, I derailed us on our looking
No,
forward to.
it's cool because I really miss reading comics. The problem is I know I can't.
Yeah. No, I
It's
get
like
it.
comics is an addiction. It really is. And if I buy one, I'm going to buy 20.
I understand. Believe me, I understand.
Yeah. So because just recently, I was watching the dogs while you were gone, and every day I play the dogs. I walk into the living room, I see a stack of comics.
Yeah. Very tempting.
I'm actually held for like an hour or two, so daughter can play the dogs. Like, well, something to do. So many times, I'm like, he won't mind if we read a comic or two.
No, absolutely not.
Never did. Never. A couple times looked at him. This looks really cool. I'm not gonna pick it up. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I get it.
So
Right. So you're not looking forward to anything in comics. I'm not looking forward to anything in video games. So is there a video game you're looking forward to?
again, I'm kind of a free agent. It seems like my interest has just changed recently. There's a couple coming out. The new Spider-Man comes out. I think it looks really cool.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm not really sure.
All right.
I did some minor research into them, and again, some look, oh, that's cool. New Kingdom Hearts looks cool. There's no new Star Wars games I saw coming out, which again blows my mind. Star Wars, no video game. Why not?
That just
Marvel Comics, no video games. Why? Why would you have those two markets where
I know it seems weird that Disney's failing in certain spots.
it does? I mean, they both have an online game you can play. Marvel was completely free to play, and I enjoyed some of it. It get boring really fast. The Star Wars game is actually fun, but unless you pay to play it, then you can't do it.
It's like where Marvel succeeds, or Disney, where Disney succeeds, they blow everybody out of the water.
Right.
But when they fail, it's like they're not even playing video games, TV. I mean, Netflix and all, they're doing fine. But think about Marvel stuff on just regular broadcast TV. Inhumans, ugh, man, that was horrible. Shield. The only reason it got renewed over and over is because it was on a Disney-owned channel. Otherwise, it would have been gone a long time ago.
Actually, let me take that back. There is a Spider-Man game coming out this year. That does look great.
Okay.
But if you actually think of it, right, fanboys, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
We love the comics, we love the TV shows, we love the video games.
We do a little of everything, yeah.
Yeah. Video games seems a very like DC doesn't do video games either, really. Every so often there's a Batman one comes out, which has been great.
Well, the Arkham
Which
line
is
has been.
that's been what, once every 2-3 years, something like that.
I thought it was like once every year, is it not?
The last one was Arkham Knight, which I think was 2 years ago.
Okay. But they have it.
I could be wrong.
But they've got Injustice is the other one.
Okay, so once a year or something. But I don't know. Especially with Star Wars, it blows my mind the most.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I would market the junk out of these things.
I know. So bringing up Star Wars, let's
Yes.
segue into our final topic of the day. We wanted to talk a little bit more about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, right?
Nothing really to talk about. Well, I guess we probably will get into movie-wise in a second about it. But overall,
Yeah.
it is currently the least liked Star Wars movie as opposed to Rotten Tomatoes fan base. Thoughts? I mean, is that accurate? First of all,
First,
I question the accuracy of that.
I still think Rotten Tomatoes is a false thing to look at.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
It just doesn't work anymore. It worked when it was small. It's gotten to the point where Rotten Tomatoes just doesn't
It's too
work
big and
anymore.
people rely on it too much.
Yeah. And that's across the board with any movie. There's exceptions. I mean, if you have a little artsy movie, you can probably trust what it says in there because nobody's paying attention. Nobody's trying to twist it around or change anything. But for the most part, Rotten Tomatoes can be ignored. But there is no ignoring the fact that people are disappointed in The Last Jedi,
Right.
no matter what its score is.
It's mind-blowing because people on this movie, as opposed to other movies, are either they love it or they hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the few people that I liked it, but there's a lot of problems. I'm like one of the minorities now. Like, really, people like me. I think you're more like, there's some cool parts, but I don't like it. That's more like you, I think?
Almost, I'd have to go back and see it again, but almost every single scene, standalone, I enjoyed. There
Right.
might be an exception here or there, but overall, every single scene, just pull it out. Like if I'm flipping the TV around and stop to watch one scene, I completely enjoy the scene. I did not think the movie worked all put together.
And that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
It felt, so many scenes felt out of place to me.
Yeah.
And so regardless of that, so you and I pretty much feel the same way at this movie.
Yeah.
But regardless
Oh,
of that,
I do have to say, there's one scene, no, get rid of the stupid space cow blue milk scene or whatever. But okay, get rid of that one. Outside of that,
that
one,
was a whole 2 seconds on a 2.5
I know,
hour
I
movie.
know, I know,
Okay,
I
so
know.
we're good in that. This movie is now $220 million at the same time shy of Force Awakens. Force Awakens took a lot of heat because it's kind of rip off A New Hope. Let's be real, it was.
yeah,
But it was a fun movie, regardless.
it was well put together.
Last Jedi was actually, overall, as a story, a pretty decent story. It didn't flow well at all. It flowed
No.
so horribly to me. And, regardless of what the fans say, oh, this movie's great, it's the best ever, somewhere it's not hitting everybody.
It's not.
And
And unfortunately, I will say, unfortunately, everybody who dislikes it or has something negative to say about it, including us, by the people who like it, we all get lumped in together in the same mentality. Because some of the loudest people who've been not liking it have been the ones saying, Luke would never do that, and that was a horrible story idea, and so on. I don't have any problem with any of that. I mean, I don't control these characters. The
Right.
writers took the characters where they want to take them.
Right.
Whether it's where I take the characters
You're
or
right.
not,
You and I are
fine.
perfectly cool with that.
Yeah.
The Luke has been the biggest outrage by fans, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And even Mark Hamill said the Jedi's don't give up. Well, you didn't really watch Revenge of the Sith now, did you? Because they gave up pretty fast.
Well, I mean, after Revenge of the Sith, when you get into the original trilogy,
Right.
Obi-Wan
Was in hiding.
went and hid out on Tatooine.
Right.
Yoda went and hid out on
Dagobah. And
Dagobah.
there's all
So-
these other side stories of these other
Yeah.
Jedi's that
So, I mean,
lived.
there's plenty of... That's what they do. I don't have a problem with that.
Right, neither do I.
The story elements I don't have a problem with. It was construction of the
It
story.
was execution.
Yeah.
Right. Visually wise, there's some really cool scenes. The Leia floating in space scene, I still hate with a passion. I would have done that completely different. But other than that,
Yeah.
again, that's a 2-minute long scene of 2.5 hour long movie.
Right.
I'm over that pretty fast. But regardless of this, $220 million over the short period of time, that does have to say something to Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think, because as of right now, this director, Rian Johnson, is the guy in charge of the next trilogy?
Don't think it'll ever happen.
Really?
I really don't think it'll ever happen. I think it's one of those that'll get delayed because we've got to still get through Solo.
Right.
Then we got to do Episode 9.
Right.
Then they'll probably have another standalone movie of some type.
What do you think that's going to be?
I'm hoping it's Obi-Wan. It could be Boba Fett.
I think it's one of the evil both for Obi-Wan. I think it'd be Obi-Wan because Greg wants to come back.
Obi-Wan. And honestly, I think you could do a great Lando Calrissian or
Oh, absolutely.
Descendants of Lando or
Yeah.
something like that. Do a con man story. Do Ocean's 11 in the Star Wars universe with
I think they might.
Lando's 11. There we
if
go.
Glover
Lando's
hits it
11.
off. Danny Glover, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Or Donald Glover. One of the two.
Donald Glover.
Okay, if he's an amazing. He's one of my favorite actors right now in Hollywood. If he hits it off as Lando, and I think if anybody can pull Lando off, it's
Yeah.
going to be him.
Yeah,
He's going to be extremely charismatic. People are going to want to see more of him.
yeah.
And he's such a likable guy outside of movies. I think he would do
So,
it.
so now you're 3 years or more than 3 years out from now, before those even have a chance of coming around. And think about how many movies in Hollywood get announced,
Yeah, but-
even big, gigantic deals, and then they never happen because people get busy and they can't align
Disney
their
does
schedules.
want a Star Wars movie every year. They've made
Yeah.
that more known. Now, here's the deal, and I see what you're saying with this. There's still years down the road. This guy's supposed to be writing a trilogy right now, and I think one of the problems, my biggest problem, I think, with Last Jedi was not even the execution of it, was the fact it did feel like two different directors going two different story arcs.
Yeah,
I think Disney learned that, and Disney's like, okay, we want an entire story arc from you right now. So this
Could
guy
be.
needs to get started in this right now, I think.
Could be. It's just-
because you
since-
figure just pre-production alone, that's at least 1 or 2 years.
it is. It's just since so much of my problem was the construction of the movie, which the director is the one that's 100% responsible for that. Even if he's being pulled aside by producers and executive
Yes.
producers, J.J. Abrams or anybody else, he was still responsible for the construction of that movie. I didn't have a problem with the story elements, but the construction I did. It almost seems like he bit off something he wasn't ready to handle. Now, maybe having this experience and having this negative backlash is a growth opportunity for him.
Or it will be a growth opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, could be he learns from this and gives us a great trilogy. I just don't think it'll ever happen.
It's
I really
just,
don't.
part of me thinks that if this was the beginning of the new Star Wars trilogy, might have been a good movie. Because another story already told, and the characters seem to go a complete different direction in the story. And again, let's be real, the Finn, one of my favorite characters from Force Awakens, I love Finn. This movie, the whole Canto Blight, because they needed a story to give him, because he's the main character, and they didn't have anything for him to do.
Right.
That was Canto Blight, that's only it. And that ruined it for me. There was a lot of problems. I wasn't trying to, I make a point here. I forgot where I was totally. Anyways, long story short is, I think if this started off as Last Jedi as the first movie, it might have been better. It really might have been better.
It might have been. I don't know. I just.
I mean, there are parts I can nitpick this movie up and down, left and right, but to be fair, I think every Star Wars movie you can do that.
I just hope that because J.J. Abrams is coming back to do
Yes,
to
absolutely.
direct the third one, right?
I think he's directing and writing, isn't he not?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He's fully in charge of the
Yes.
third one. Hopefully, that gets us back to okay. That's what we were wanting to see.
But again, won't that mess things up more? Because again,
If it finishes out the story, so we can put that one behind us, and you get to start a new story and not have any baggage. Maybe this new guy.
I think the number one problem with this movie was the entire trilogy wasn't written right away.
Well,
Or
yeah,
at least what we want to accomplish this trilogy.
yeah.
It felt like J.J. Abrams wanted to go one direction, a big triumphant return with Luke, where it felt like Disney, well, let's kill all the old characters and let's bring all new blood in there.
Yeah, that's it. And it could be because he was doing Star Trek, and this was Disney's first. Force Awakens was Disney's first attempt at a Star Wars movie, and they didn't want to overcommit.
Right.
They should have committed.
They absolutely should have committed. I would have committed. Again, they had the money.
Oh yeah, I mean, Disney can lose $100 million, and didn't I have that in my pocket yesterday? Oh well.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
write it off real fast. Yeah, they don't care. But
they can't do it.
A couple of things
couple
I'm
dozen
going to
times.
try to right one away for this. People are saying, "What do you mean? This movie's great. It's making a lot of money." Call it what it is. It's Star Wars. It's going to make a lot of money, no matter what.
Yeah.
Star Wars movies makes money. For now, you made a point earlier was, well, do 2 or 3 movies like this where not really liked about.
Yeah, that
about
can
fans?
change things.
That would change things up. I do think you need about 2 or 3 bad movies for that to happen. And I'm not saying this movie is horrible. I don't think it is horrible.
But if you had several in a row like this,
Where
that changes
the audience
things.
is 50-50, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think right now is, for the next trilogy, write entire trilogy right away. Yeah, change things up, editing here and there,
Right, yeah.
this and how this character react. Always some things you to change, but for the most part, know what you want to accomplish. I don't feel like this was done that way. $220 million over this short period of time is a big money number.
Yeah.
That Disney has to look at, and they have the question: is this the direction we want to go?
And some percentage of that is just because the last one was the first Disney one. There was always going to be a gap, but
I think another percentage is a lot of the people that saw that movie saw it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I saw it twice in the theater.
yeah, I did too.
I was thinking about seeing Last Jedi again, just the fact that I got to see it again. Just, did I really not like some of the parts? I think I might like it again a second time, but I had no desire to see it again a second time in the theater.
I'm
definitely going to watch it again.
I'm going to watch it again at home, and and when it comes out for home, we'll be able to analyze it better because we'll be able to sit there and rewind it. Did we just see that? Okay, write that down. We can actually prep for an episode really, really well.
Yeah. So we're going to do that right now. We'll plan for Old Titans, Star Wars, The Last Jedi doesn't hold down, I guess we'll call it. Because let's be real, this movie's been, regardless of what you think, this movie was beat down by a lot of fans.
Yeah, it was.
Some things are unfair. A lot of people are referring to this Rose actress as the new Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Completely unfair.
I had no problem with Rose.
Because, again, she was thrown in there. Yeah, you were forced to like it right away, which I hate when they do that in movies. For the most part, she was okay to me. She really was okay to me.
She was fine. The only problem I had with Rose really was not with Rose. It was the fact that if they have stun technology that can throw a grown man, 9 feet backwards, why don't they just include that on every single thing that they carry?
Well,
a
lot of technology that they have that they can't send out emails in Star Wars. What's up with that? That's mind blowing to me. But yeah, I mean, as a character, there were parts she annoyed me.
Yeah.
Especially her last heroic sacrifice at the end. I think the reason they brought her in because they needed a chemistry for Finn, a romance person for Finn.
Yeah.
And the Finn and Rey chemistry just wasn't there. I think that was always the original intent that they were supposed to be the next couple, and then bring about the new Jedis and that kind of stuff.
Well,
they had no chemistry. They really had no chemistry together.
They didn't. And you did have in the original trilogy the love triangle.
Right.
Before you learned that Leia was the sister, you had is she ended up with Luke or with Han?
Well, I'm pretty sure none of these guys are related. Rey, Finn, and Rose are not related. I feel confident saying that.
I feel pretty good on that.
I felt there wasn't the funny thing about it was there was more chemistry between Finn and Poe than there was between Finn and Rey. Let's be real.
It is 2007, actually 2018 now.
So, and that's perfectly fine.
It could be where we end up.
So I think that's one of the reasons they brought her in. But compared to Jar Jar Binks, even if Phantom Menace was a great movie, Jar Jar Binks would make you hate that movie a little bit. Let's be real. He would he not? Because he was so annoying that every scene he was in just killed the scene.
He was annoying, but in as much as everybody makes fun of Jar Jar Binks, he was not my least favorite thing of the original trilogy.
Well, actually, mine was Anakin, honestly.
It was, young Anakin, a little annoying, but...
No, young Anakin was really annoying.
But...
A really bad actor.
And Hayden Christensen, I hate to say this, because for all I know, he's had other roles where he does a really good job. But in the 2 Star Wars movies that he had, he was horrible.
I thought he was better than Jake Lloyd.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, either way.
I think Phantom was a better movie than Attack of the Clones, which is not saying much, because they both were.
But we still don't like Hayden Christensen's acting.
No, I thought what was the problem with the original trilogy? Because Revenge of the Sith, I thought was a decent movie. The problem is, I still think Last Jedi is better than those. Is the fact that the acting alone in Revenge of the Sith was so bad, and the acting in New Hope, let's be real, wasn't that great either. But compared to Revenge of the Sith, was a lot better.
Here's my hope. I'm gonna end my thoughts. You can have some final thoughts too. My thoughts for the new year. I hope they decide to just forget about this new trilogy with this Ryan, whatever his director's name is, Ryan Johnson. Just forget about that quietly, and announce before the end of the year that they're going back and redoing the first 2 chapters.
That's never going to happen.
And making Rogue One the official chapter 3.
That is never going to happen, Jumbo.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope.
That's a new hope that's going to
That's a new
fall.
hope.
That is the last Jedi hope
that's
there.
my hope for the year.
That's not going to happen.
Do you have a hope for the year? Something that's so far-fetched that probably going to happen, but you still hope for it to happen?
Well, that's a tough question. That's an on-the-spot question.
Maybe
I hope I'm cast as the new Spider-Man. As the older Spider-Man, you want to, the Mayday Parker stories, the Elseworld stories, that kind of stuff. The casting is Peter Parker. I had the gray hair in the sides.
Yeah, you got that?
Well, I mean, it could be me. I'm throwing out there.
There we go.
Yeah.
I still think you need to cosplay Luke at convention this summer.
I'm honestly thinking about that.
Old Luke.
I might do that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. All right. You got any last thoughts before we close out our 50th episode? 50 episodes.
Happy 50th.
Happy 50th.
That's it. Because we missed our year anniversary by that day, actually. We realized later on that day that was a year anniversary. So, happy 50th.
Happy 50th.
We made it this long. We didn't think we were going to.
No. I really didn't think we'd make it past 3.
You're probably right, actually.
But that's good. All right. So, do we have a B-Man question of the week for next time?
We're actually going to start with B-Man questions of the week again. We talked about Disney buying Netflix, possibly. Rumors.
Okay.
Do you think we'll ever see the day where Disney buys Warner Brothers? And if so, let's make it a 2-part question. This is came to my mind. If they ever buy Warner Brothers, do you think Marvel and DC would combine the universes or still keep them separate?
All right. So that's for next time.
That's next time.
That's for next time. I just got to chill and thinking about that one. But okay. Until next time, this is John Paul.
B-Man.
We are out of here.